Is the homework is the link that you sent me?
Let me see. Well, actually, I think I wanted you last time to write it down and send me what we talked about, but it's okay. So I think we'll just start over with mock test and yeah, the Google form that I've created for my students. That's like what I always want you to finish, like every week. That's the default homework. Like if you don't know what to do, you do that. Yeah.
Okay.
You show me like what you can do by practicing at home, because at least half of the learning happens where? At least half of the learning. So half happens in class, minimum, right? And half happens where? Preparation of learning, half of that happens where?
At school and half at home.
Well, right. So you need to do it yourself too. Yeah. If you don't do it, then it's very slow.
Okay.
So that's why, especially for me, only once, but it's okay. I'm still happy to see you. Very happy, actually. So thank you for joining. We will see. Like, actually, I have a question for you. Have you, like, do you practice English in any way regularly?
Oh, like you're asking the way that I'm practicing English every day?
Well, let's say that for the past week or so, how have you or how did you practice English?
Well, I will go through my old notes from the previous I don't know, previous lessons, and I will take notes, and eventually I will use ChatGPT to find me some phrases. That is like the phrase that you gave me last week, like the former and latter, or I'm not an expert on any field. And I will use ChatGPT to find me more like examples and similar phrases that English people they always use.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then how do you practice that?
Well, last week was a very hectic week or busy week for me, so I didn't have much time to study or to learn, but I will try to look over the chats and the notes. I always remember to bring my notes because at least it still count as studying.
Okay. And do you practice specific part 1, part 2, part 3 at home? Or not yet? Yeah?
No.
Okay. Well, it's fine. We'll start from, let's say, this week. Yeah. Is it a bit easier than last one for you?
Well, I hope so. But at least the yearbooks ended now.
The what ended?
The yearbook photo.
Oh, the photo shoot, you mean, right?
Yes.
Is it like because you are almost done with school?
Yes,
You have like half a year left?
maybe.
Okay. And how did it go?
Well, we were relieved that the weather was amazing. It didn't rain, and uh, I don't know. It's just I don't care about the photo shoot much. It just required a lot of dedication and preparation, and so the photo shoot went smoothly, but it left me exhausted.
It doesn't really make sense. It requires what again, you said?
Like to have a successful photo shoot day, we have days and weeks to prepare it, and to prepare.
Days
So
or weeks?
what?
Weeks, right? You said
Week?
days and weeks. You mean like just weeks? We had weeks to prepare. We don't have days and weeks to prepare. Like you have to choose one.
Well, I to choose. We have months to prepare.
Months or 1 month?
Months,
Many months.
many months.
Okay, so we had months to prepare. Well, no, the point is, like you said, that you started with I don't really care, but something like you put a lot of effort into that, so it doesn't really connect. It's illogical. So can you somehow connect that better, right? So there's a photo shoot, you don't really care about it, but you have put a lot of effort into it and a lot of preparation went into that. So all of that doesn't connect. You understand why?
Yes, I do.
So how can you explain that? You don't care, but you put in a lot of effort. Why? Shouldn't it be the other way around?
But I don't think that taking photos is important, but
Mhm.
because it is about the class and it's just a life once in a life event. So
Once in a lifetime event, so you need to make it count, right?
yes, even if it is not important, but it can affect the whole class, like other people. So
So is it important or not? Like if it can affect other people, is it important?
it's very important.
But then you're saying it's not important, but it's important. That's what you said,
It
basically,
it
right?
is not important for me, but it is important for others. So
Okay, that makes more sense. Important for others, so that's why you had to try hard, but it's not important for you personally, right? The key word is personally. Yeah. Okay, that's better. And you said you had to prepare. Why do you need a month to prepare for a photo shoot, especially a yearbook photo shoot? I thought all of the work is done by the people you hire to take photos of you, the studio, the photographers.
like,
Well,
uh,
what had you been doing during those months to prepare for the yearbook
we have
photo
to
shoot?
book. We have to book before dates. Like we booked the studio during October and
In
for
October.
in October to shoot in December. So between 2 months,
Had
do a lot of we had to do a lot of polls, like to vote and to
a
choose
lot of
what
polls. Oh,
polls to
oh.
choose the concepts and the studio and the place to shoot. A lot of
Mhm.
things around it, and like choose the food and the place to do all the makeup and changing clothes and everything.
So it was not done
What?
by the studio, right? So you said you had to book everything and prepare everything. So you had to do it all
Oh,
manually yourself,
no.
even though you had to book something else?
The studio is just a small part of it. And
No.
so in order to have the shoot that you wanted, you cannot rely like wholly on the studio, but you have to do it yourself. You have to hire the photographer that you want.
Wait,
And
what does the studio do? I thought the studio is the photographer.
no, they just take the whole picture of the class, but sometimes you want more for yourself, like you want more photo shoots, so you need to hire another photo shoot for yourself.
So you hired two studios.
No, you hire one studio to take the whole picture for the class, but you hire your personal photograph to take more picture of you, and like they can edit the photos the way that you want it, because the studio won't do that. They won't
Okay.
ask for your opinion, but your photographer will ask for your opinion and do what you said.
Do what you say.
Do what you say.
And keep in mind the plurals. So when you say words like picture or photo, you mean generally, right? Not one photo. So it should be in the plural form with an S ending, such as photos, take photos of me or pictures. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep it in mind. All right. Well, I see that you took it really seriously, this kind of event, and I hope it worked out. Do you think it was a success?
I think maybe it was a success.
Maybe,
Maybe.
or maybe not. Have you
Because
seen the photos?
no,
Oh.
we need to wait weeks to finally get the photos.
Okay. Well, in that case, let's focus on the test now, shall we?
Yes.
So, do you have a paper and a pencil near you?
Yes, I'm having my notebook and pen.
Did you say I'm having? No, we don't speak like that in English. You just say,
I have my notebook and pen.
uh-huh. I have notebook and pen, right? Very good. So, good morning. My name is Stass Reed. Can you please tell me your full name?
My full name is Bùi Thị Khánh Hà.
And can you tell me where you're from?
I'm from Hanoi, Vietnam.
Okay, now in the first part, we're going to talk about you, and I'm going to ask you some personal questions. First of all, let's talk about clothes. What kinds of clothes do you like to wear daily?
In the daily basis, I would prefer wearing clothes that is comfortable and have a neutral colors to it, because
Are you very interested in fashion and brand name clothing?
yes, I'm interested on that field, but it leans into a more professional side. Like I can show up as a person who is very knowledgeable about fashion or aesthetics, but sometimes it just not reflects on my wearing style or my fashion taste. Like they are the two different sides of it.
Okay, and how often do you go shopping for new clothes?
Mm, I barely, because I think that I've had enough and I'm doing quite well. So I don't have a need to go to shop more. So I say that I go to shop um, uh, once in 4 months, I think.
Have you ever received clothing as a gift from someone?
Mm, no, because uh, most of the most of my friends or family members, they also don't pressure on dressing, and because they know my personality and they know my needs, and so they will not choose clothes as a gift for me.
Let's talk about nature. Do you like spending time in nature?
Well, I love the concept of spending time in nature, but my surroundings or the place that I live, specifically Hanoi, just doesn't support that idea. So it is hard for me to experience that, but I love the concept.
Do you have any plants at home?
Well, we have some, no, we have many small plants out placed outside the house, but uh, we didn't take much time to care for it. So I say that although we have plants at home, but we didn't have time to take care of it.
Did you learn much about plants or animals in school?
Mm, at school, we have the subject biology where we learn about plants, but sometimes I find those um, lessons to be very disconnected to reality, the reality that I'm living. So it is very odd, but it's just the way it is.
What is your favorite natural place to visit?
Um, my favorite place that is more nature, that is naturally in my place is Thống Nhất Park. It is a large place for people to working, to exercise, and to running. So it is very quiet and have a lot of plants.
Let's talk about time management now. Are you good at managing your time daily?
Um, I have to admit that I am not a person who is not an expert at time management because I always found myself busy and working very hard daily, but haven't completed any tasks successfully or meet my expectation. But I think that I can handle a lot of pressure and can handle my schedule uh, to keep it as good as possible and to function well.
Do you prefer to plan your day or be spontaneous?
Uh, because most of the schedule is dated, so it is fixed. So there isn't a work for me to plan it because it is already there. It's just that I need to think ways to use my time to be as essential as possible. Like during free time, instead of scrolling, I can revise through my notes or cut down some uh, trivial or cut down some scoring to go to sleep early. That is how I use my time.
All right, now in the next part, I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to prepare what you're going to say, and you can make some notes to help you if you wish. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you have the chat open so you can see the topic? I will send it soon. So I'd like you to describe a rule that is important in your school.
Well, I have 1 minute to prepare, right?
Yes. All right. Now, don't worry if I stop you. Can you start speaking now, please?
Well, as students, most of the time we spend at school and studying, and to give students the disciplines and structure, schools decided to give out some rules for us students to follow so that we can uplift our academic performance and to achieve our goals and dreams. So, at my case, my schools have rules to ban phones, smartphones during studying hours, which means that we cannot use phones at school or when we're studying. But that is just the rules uh, by the book. But sometimes a student, uh, like we can ban the rules by using phones to help us. We can ban the rules by asking for the permission to use our phone if if uh, if we need it, and if the subject is too hard and requires searching, we can also ask for permission to that, and eventually we can use our phone to do our assignment. So, in my opinion, looking back, the rules had its benefits in teaching students the discipline in in uh, in being committed to
Thank
their
you.
work.
And do you think this rule would still be useful if you studied at university overseas?
I think that these rules have its own benefits, but the benefits cannot like but but I think that we as students in this day of age, there are constant um, informations that we have to search and learn the meaning of it, and sometimes book just doesn't have the ability to
Thank
give.
you. So we've been talking about rules, and now I'd like to ask you some general questions related to this. First of all, let's consider the following. Why do schools and workplaces have rules?
Well, in my opinion, they have sets of rules uh, for people to follow so that they can control the outcome much more better, because to follow rules is to be disciplined. So by not breaking the rules, you can manage to do your work better, and eventually can have the outcome that they wanted. Especially for schools. School requires students to have high grades so that we can go to university as a high school student case. So the school need to ban such things like smartphones for us to be focused on our work, on our studying instead of slacking off. And at company, because companies are for adults, so I think that adult goals is to make money. So in order to achieve that goals, they have to be very focused on the work and to follow the instructor of a company. So
Okay.
yes, that's my opinion.
What are the differences between rules at school and rules at home?
Well, I think that school rules at school can if you break rules at school, you get to be like some sort of, you get punished very bad, so very very bad, and it could affect your files, like the files you needed to submit it to your future universities, which leads to your future is being, I say that, is being endangered. But breaking rules as a household could be less damaging, less stressful, because at home it is more comfortable and more spontaneous, so you doesn't have the fear of being punished so hardly.
Okay. And do you think people sometimes benefit from breaking rules?
Well, in my case, yes, because sometimes there are, well, let's say at school we have a lot of tests, but sometimes there are two type of tests, like the important one, which is to affect your whole grades, and the less important one. I would sort them as trivial tests. So, but um, the final the final outcome is still our grades. So during the trivial test season, we sometimes can use our phone to, like, to search for it, although it is against the rules of the school. But because it is less important, we can use that. We can use that. Like, we kind of bend the rules a bit, but it just doesn't affect the whole performance or our whole academic performance.
And how are laws different from rules, in your opinion?
From my perspective, rules are given. Rules is, let's say, it is smaller than law. The law is more vast and general and can be used in constructing a whole society, but rules can be given through a small group of people, and it is not used for a whole, like, community or society. So laws can affect and give out structure to a whole, a group of very big.
And should children be allowed to question rules set by adults?
Well, essentially yes, because childrens are a curious being. They need to know what they're following, so that they cannot get, like, be manipulated um, or they will have or be manipulated by adults, but instead they will have the chance to stand up for themselves and to know what they're thinking and choosing to make their own decisions. So children essentially need to be aware and follow their curiosity so that it can like some sort of protection. Like it can protect them from bad adults that love to give out the authority figure to manipulate and control children, to make children think the way that they think, but don't necessarily benefit the children.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. That is the end of the speaking test. You can say, thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you for your time.
It's not for me, it's for the examiner, right? And during the test, it's just a very natural way to finish. And then you get your grade almost immediately. I mean, your band score is given to you almost as soon as you close the door, you know? The examiners are trained to estimate your score based on your performance immediately, right? And then later you still receive it, like, let's say a week or two later, but you get it almost immediately there, right?
Yes.
Now, is it important to smile while you speak? At least maybe a little bit, or is it not important in IELTS?
Well, I've heard that like we need to treat the IELTS speaking test as a conversation. So I think that we need to do something to make it as comfortable and as natural so
As possible, yeah?
as possible. So, well, smiling can give out the nice impression, but sometimes it just, I say, is our words. Like I know the words, but I just cannot say it out loud.
No, that's not what you're trying to say. What if you say that? That means you don't want to. But what you're trying to say is that you don't know the word, you can't remember it, right?
Yes.
Well, I don't know what you have in mind, so I can't really. Like, you mean it's unnatural to smile, or is it like you feel forced? You feel like it's unnecessary, it's something you have to do?
I
Or
think it is unnecessary, but it's unnecessary.
redundant?
I think that it relies. Well,
Well,
I
okay.
think the context that we are saying is more important than our
The content is more important than the way you deliver it?
yes.
The way you deliver it, is it called pronunciation?
But it just doesn't have to like smiling. You can just give out the neutral appearance. Because smiling for some people is too much and they feel
My question
uncomfortable.
was only whether you think smiling is important to get a high score or not. What do you
No,
think?
no.
Not important. Okay, that's true, but it's just a minor recommendation from me to add a little bit of perhaps a little bit of that or other emotions. It could make your speech livelier a little, and as an extension, it will make your speech a bit more natural as well. When you smile, actually, you open your mouth a bit more, which is what you need for English. I'm not sure if you need to do that in Vietnamese when you speak that language, but in English, it is beneficial to open your mouth a bit more, especially when you're being graded on your pronunciation. I would try to open my mouth as much as I could just to make sure I deliver really that I pronounce everything well and I deliver a more natural kind of pronunciation without mumbling, right? And the key here is to avoid mumbling. And okay, if you can do that without having to open your mouth too much, then all right. But it's good to practice at home. Of course, if it becomes too unnatural, that's not good. But also mumbling, that's one of the major issues that you could have during the test, is the examiner might not hear what you're trying to say. Yeah. Plus, emotion does convey more meaning, and it helps you sound a bit more natural, right? What do you think?
Well, I think that you're saying that my speaking is lacking some emotions.
Not liking too much, but it could definitely make your speech a bit more colorful and interesting. To emphasize, it's mostly intonation. You know, I'm talking about intonation here, not like because emotion gives you the ability, being able to express your emotions freely gives you the ability to control your intonation better. At
Yeah.
least it should in English, right? So
Mhm.
it is perceived when you speak without emotion, and by extension without intonation, it is perceived as, you know, monotonous, a bit mechanical, and might not be too natural. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But if you naturally speak like this, even in Vietnamese, or I mean, you're just that way naturally, then it's fine. I mean, you don't need to really change too much, but it's something to keep in mind. What do you think?
Because that is the way that I normally speak, but I will listen to your advice and add more emotion. More
With
emotion.
intonation, yeah?
Okay.
The key here is intonation. Like, you might not even need emotion. Some people can, I mean, everyone can raise their voice or lower it even without emotion, but it's a bit more natural.
Okay.
And look, yeah, well, it's key for strong words. Like, you can say I'm very tired, but when you say exhausted, you do need some intonation there, don't you? I'm exhausted, right?
Yes.
Well, you could say, of course, like I'm exhausted, right? That's okay too, but normally there's a little bit of that, you know, power in the voice, yeah, with those powerful words. Stunning view, right? Marvelous event, or like you know, whatever fits there. Yeah, but the point is that you're trying to use different kind of vocabulary, and it also requires intonation, not just
Yes.
context,
Yes.
but also a little bit of intonation from time to time. And some structures also, like not this, not only this, but also that. Yeah, so all of that, those kinds of structures, they also need intonation to help you highlight your well, whatever you're trying to say, and help you highlight the fact that you're using those structures correctly. And idioms too, like those are especially like idiomatic language. It's emotionally charged usually. You know what that means?
Yes.
Well, let's take a short break now, and then we'll come back to discuss your performance during the test. What do you think? Shall we?
Oh, what about the part 3?
You've covered this already?
I thought which is part 2, but
Okay, I'll explain the format to you. I wasn't aware that you had some confusion in regards
no, no,
to the
no. Like
questions.
I just realized that because there were 2 parts. You ask about laws and school, no, laws and rules of school, and ask for my opinion, but later on is more generalized. But I just didn't.
Okay, I'll explain it all when you come back, okay?
Okay.
And Yeah, so we've covered 5 part 3 questions there. It's pretty simple overall. The structure is it's not complicated. Yeah. So let's take a break about 5 minutes, or do you need more? Because I recommend to stand up, move around, splash some water on your face, drink some water. Those are the basic things I recommend during the break to my students, so that you can, fully refresh yourself. But do you need more than 5 minutes for this?
No, just 5 minutes.
Okay, so in 5 minutes, I would like to reconvene and meet each other again right here. Let me turn on the timer here just a moment, so we can both see it in this. In this meeting. All right. See you soon.
I see you soon.
Feeling better?
Yes.
Much better?
It's just better.
Just better, not much.
But I want to study. No,
A lot?
no, like it is better to study than resting.
Then what?
Than resting.
Better to study than to rest? Why?
Yeah.
You think studying is better than resting?
No,
Aren't they like equally important?
they are important, but during your lesson, it is more. I want to study more than taking rest.
No, it doesn't count as part of the lesson when we take a break. It's just a break, yeah?
Yes.
I mean, we can extend the lesson by the amount the break takes. Like it's not part of the lesson. Okay. So now we will take a look at the tests issues and oh yeah, the structure. I guess I should explain it to you here. So we have how many parts?
We have 3 parts.
All right, so the test in like in total, the real test, the real speaking test, will it take 30 minutes in total? The real speaking test?
I'd say is 20 minutes.
Well, it's actually about 12.
12. Okay.
So the total test takes about from 11 to 15, 11 to 14 even. It depends on the examiner. If they already have made up their mind about your score, they'll just let you go earlier. I mean, they will not torture you with questions.
Okay.
Or I mean, if they already know the result, they're not going to really extend it fully. Sometimes they can estimate pretty quickly where you're at. Yeah.
Yes.
So 3 parts, and they're very structured. Very strictly structured. Part 1. In part 1, you have how many minutes approximately?
Of 3 to 5 minutes.
Just up to 5 minutes. Yeah, it's supposed to be about 5 minutes, but again, could be cut off a little shorter, but usually 5 minutes. Yeah. And then, how many topics do you have in part 3? Do you have more than 5 topics?
No, only one topic.
In part 3, sorry, in part 1, you have, did I say part 3?
Yes.
Sorry, I meant part 1. We're still talking about part 1.
Well, I think that part 1 is about exploring different topics and ask for your opinions.
How many topics do you have in part 1?
3.
Right, yeah, so you get 3 topics, and how many questions per topic?
1 to 2.
4 questions per topic.
Oh, okay. Like 4 questions per topic.
Yeah, so you have how many questions in total in part 1?
12.
Yes, you have 12 questions, like normally, but so look at it from the examiner's perspective. The examiner has maximum 5 minutes to ask you these questions. And if they feel like you are dragging out if you're just dragging your answers, then what are they going to do? Are they going to get angry?
No, but maybe they will feel a bit irritated.
No, they will not feel any emotion. They will just have to cut you off. Yeah, they'll feel pressured by time. They always feel pressured by time because it's such short amount of time, right?
Yeah.
And that means they will cut you off. And that means, is it a bad thing or a good thing when they cut you off?
A good things.
It's a neutral thing. It doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they wouldn't want to cut you off normally. I mean, that's not what they want, but they have to. because of the time constraints.
Yes.
Right? So that's what you have to understand. Some people say like maybe like if you get cut off, that's bad or that's like really good or something, but it doesn't matter in the end. It's just like so that they could fit in 3 topics, ideally with about 4 questions per topic. That's what they want to do. And if you're making it hard for them, they will try to cut you off then. But if you give very short answers, which you don't, but if you do give very short answers, well, then you just finish part 1 sooner. But if you give like part 3 level answers in part 1, that's not necessary. It's just about 2, maybe 3 sentences per question, right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. What else? Well, that's part 1. And part 1 is, it's genuinely treated as a warm-up. Yeah, because
Yes.
you need to get to know the examiner a little bit by getting used to their way of speaking, so you can kind of like tune in to their voice and speech, like the dialect that they're using, Australian sometimes, British sometimes, some awkwardly Irish or something could be, you know. So you need time to adjust. That's why part 1 was created. That's why there is part 1 as a warm-up. Yeah, so you shouldn't worry too much. It's also the additional benefit is that you get to relax a little bit during part 1, because you're going to be stiff at first and scared in a new environment, talking to some stranger.
Okay.
But that way it's designed to ease you off a little and let you calm down. So you treat it that way. Don't get more stressed during part 1. Just relax and try to remember to breathe. Yeah, a lot of people forget to breathe during the test. Do you know why? It's because it's a bit stressful, yeah? And you try to focus on your English. But when you forget to breathe, what happens? You sometimes run out of breath. And even if you don't, you just get more stressed inside. Yeah, so you feel a bit more stiff inside of you. And that is not good. That
Yes.
makes your whole performance go down when you're too stressed, like when your body cannot function normally because you're like withholding your breathing, like you're exhaling slowly or too maybe, well, yeah, without proper breathing, it's hard to speak well. And especially in part 2 or part 3, when you have longer turns, remember to breathe. That's one thing I would, circle many times in your head and book highlighted, yeah, to make sure to breathe. Most people, like, you will never hear this advice from other teachers. I feel like they don't care about it, and I don't know why. I think it's overlooked. And how do we do this? How do we like improve our breathing? It's like it's a technique, right? It's also a skill. When in a stressful situation, such as and especially when you need to speak and breathe at the same time, you forget about breathing. So it's good to remember it and do it properly. How do you do that properly? You need to practice, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay to, chunking. Chunking is when you can stop naturally while speaking. Right, so normally we don't want to pause this in hesitation, but chunking is natural hesitation that is normal and does not affect your score, right? So chunking is what allows you to breathe normally. Yeah, is it clear, or am I speaking too much here and you've already lost the point?
No, I still get it.
Okay, very good. Well, let's practice now with breathing. I'll give you one question, and all you need to focus on is one.
Relax, breathe,
Just
and
breathe. I'm not sure if you can relax, but the practice right now is about breathing.
okay.
Yeah. So while answering, the majority of your focus should be on your breathing. And well, we could try one question here. So, are you good at managing your time daily? Did you hear the question?
Yeah. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. Are you good at managing your time daily?
I'd say that I am
Focus on breathing, yeah?
yes. I'm pretty good at managing my time in studying and balancing my work life and my uh,
So exhale, inhale. Yeah, during the speech. And continue. During your what?
during my balancing my work life and my I don't know what to say.
So, yeah, do you feel like you're focusing a bit on the breath and relaxing or not at all? Or are you only focusing on what to say?
Well, I'm focusing on what to say more.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, that's sometimes a problem, but the practice that I'm giving you now is something you should do at home more than with me, of
Yes.
course. Just add it to your natural kind of practice of speaking. Whenever you speak with anyone in English, remember to breathe through your nose and exhale too, so you don't hold your breath too much. It's hard. It's sometimes can ruin your fluency if you do it without practice. So it's like today, like now, I mean, it immediately affects your fluency. So that's why you need to practice.
Okay.
Because if you suddenly remember it during the test and decide to do it, it probably will only make it worse without preparation. Yeah. It's like a whole new world of speaking and thinking when you have to consider your breath. At first, you have to consciously consider it, but the more you practice, the more subconscious it becomes. That
Okay.
means you do it automatically and you don't need to think about it anymore. So again, a lot of teachers, they ignore this aspect, and it's important because we are, human beings who are like alive, and we need to consider our very basic way of existence, which is breathing. Breathing is a big part of it. Of course, you need to start fixing your sleep schedule now because that's not a joke. You will perform much worse if you can't sleep at least 8 hours before your test.
Damn. Okay.
So some of my students actually did learn to manage their sleep better, like a month before. They started a month before their test. They managed to do it before, to get to the point where they slept like 9 hours reliably, and that's very important. A lot of young people overlook it, but for tests, like one of the hardest tests in your life, I think it deserves the best you got, right? And
Okay.
you cannot deliver it if you don't sleep well. Like you told me today, right? Like if you show up like this for a real test, you might not perform well.
Yes. Okay.
Breathing, sleeping. Well, of course, food. I mean, you gotta have some good breakfast or something before you go, or whatever keeps you calm. If you have any issues with that, you might talk to a doctor or something, or just think about it yourself, research it. How to keep calm in general, it's up to you. But these two things, they are not a joke. And a lot of teachers forget about it because they don't care about it themselves. Some teachers, they don't care about sleeping well or like being healthy, but I do. So that's why I suggested to you. It helps a lot. You're sharper, right? You want to be sharp. You're smart. I see that. You want to deliver that intelligence that you have. You want to deliver it until you can keep it, and until the end of the test. You want to bring it to the room and keep it up, your intelligence, right? Because if you don't sleep well, if you're overly stressed, the examiner can't see what you have that way. And you
Okay.
don't want to. Anyway, all right, that's part one, and it's designed to make you relax a bit. And then part two, we have, as you already know, well, you have exactly 60 seconds to prepare. And do you have to write something during that time?
If you need it, you just write.
So only if you need it.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's what I suggest. You don't have to write if you don't feel like it. You could just analyze the question in your head and prepare mentally. You don't need to write anything. So don't be forced, especially if you're the type who doesn't need it too much. Because, for example, when I took my IELTS test, I keep telling people that I didn't write a single word, and I got a band 9 for speaking. Even though you might think, I'm not sure if you know it, but you might think I'm a native speaker.
So you're not a native speaker?
No, I'm not. I learned the language on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
On your own, without teachers?
Yes. Pretty much the majority of my learning happened on my own.
Oh.
Vast majority, right? So I learned it from the point where I like, let's say when I was 7 or 8, I didn't speak any English, right? I did start early, of course, that's an advantage, but I mean, I wasn't learning it in an English speaking environment, was not, right? So I created it myself. I learned it on my own. That's why the advice I give you, I feel like it's a bit more valuable than that of a native speaker, because they don't know how they learned it. They just like automatically, they just have it, right? They don't really understand like the basics or the obstacles. So first of all, the foundation, and second of all, the obstacles that you have. For example, I know past perfect is a real big deal. Present perfect is a big deal. When I ask native speakers, how do you use this tense or that tense? They say, I don't know. They don't understand. They just use that, right? But I had to study all of the nuances, all the details of all tenses so I can understand it and so I can explain it to you as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you think it's a bit more valuable?
Well, if it's come from your own experience and you're not a native speaker as I am, so yeah,
What do
I
you mean?
think
You are a native speaker?
no, because you're not a native speaker, but you learn
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Okay.
to be like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in part 2, you don't have to write.
Okay.
You can just prepare mentally. That's what I did during my test. It was about 6 years ago, and just got a 9, and it was my first time taking the IELTS test. And it seemed quite natural to me to not force myself to do something I don't need. But if you need notes, I have strategy for that. You don't have time, pretty much it's almost nothing, 60 seconds, but you can write down a couple of advanced words that spring to mind just to make sure you don't forget them. And of course, you don't write the full words, just like half of the word, because you write it for yourself only, and you just scribble a little bit like this word, that word, something advanced comes to mind. Try to use that. You build your answer around those like idioms and topical words. Yeah, you build your answer around them, and it comes out really nicely that way. You don't need much more. Keep it simple. Now, you also get in part 2, you get just disconnected for a second there. Can you hear me well?
Yes.
Hmm? So in part 2, you also get 4 questions, like you should say this, right? It says there that you see 4 questions right after that, right? About like talk about this, talk about that, and this. So you don't need to follow that plan. Like on the card, it would say something like, yeah, you should mention this, this, that, but you don't have to follow that.
Oh, I thought it was a requirement.
No.
Okay.
So it's just for people who are completely stuck and don't know what to do, I guess. But it's a bit weird, in my opinion, because when you try to follow that plan, your speech becomes purposefully like stiff. and unnatural, because you like think, oh, I have to say this and this and this, and you kind of like add more worries to yourself. When in reality, it's just basically the first line describes something that's ready. That's all you need to do. Right? Like that's why to my students, when I have a mock test, I don't give you those questions. I give you some vocabulary instead. You actually used it. I was happy to hear that. Remember? I gave you a topic and I added use this. So like a couple of idioms, a couple of topical words. That's what you need, right? But the list of questions that just confuse people, and sometimes it only makes things worse. You have your own structure in your head, that's perfect. Like whatever comes to mind naturally, that's the best. What do you think?
Do they give us like some words that we should use during
No. You just get to describe this, and that's it. Yeah, I give it to you to show you what the examiner wants to hear.
Okay.
So you know, so you see, so when you are in the real test, you see a question, you think, oh, okay, so that's how the examiner thinks, how they want to, what they want to hear from me. And you center your speech around that. You have focus, these keywords, and try to focus on them, make sentences with them, or try to include them in your speech a bit better. Like making sentences with words, it will be mechanical. It's like lower level. But the better way is just to include them in your speech somehow. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's part two. And in part two, you have 2 minutes to speak. That's the hard cap maximum. They will stop you at 2 minutes, even if it's in the middle of your answer.
Okay.
If you speak less than that, it's better to not do that. Actually, it's better to just speak for 2 minutes always and train yourself at home without looking at the time to speak for 2 minutes. Just so you are aware, so you will naturally like know how long it is. So you're not surprised that you're cut off and you're not like speaking too little.
Yes.
2 minutes is a good time to practice at home without looking at it. So you like set the timer, like turn the phone upside down so you can't see it. So it just only produces a sound once it's finished. Then you speak for 2 minutes. And that's the best, right? You could show, like one of the biggest things in IELTS, you need to show the willingness to speak. That's like the big theme in IELTS speaking, is the willingness to show the willingness, like to show the examiner, I want to speak English. I don't want to be shy, or I don't want to like hesitate too much. I want to speak and speak and speak. And that's why they say you can speak from 1 to 2 minutes, but ideally it's just 2 minutes.
Okay.
But I don't think you have a problem with that. You're pretty good at extending your answer. Yeah. Now, what else? In part two, you might get a follow-up question, or you might not get it. So it depends on the situation. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't.
What is a follow-up question?
Well, in part two, you get this topic, 2 minutes, and especially if you finish early, I think you will guaranteed to get a follow-up question. If it's like 1 minute, 30 seconds, then or especially 1 minute, you will get a follow-up question. But if it's 2 minutes, they might want to move on already to part three. But sometimes they will still ask you a follow-up question. It's just a quick question related to the part two topic directly.
Okay.
Like, for example, tell me about your best friend, and the follow-up could be, what do your other friends and relatives think about that person? But the follow-up, there's a catch. The follow-up answer to that follow-up question, it should be short. So you shouldn't extend that too much, because it's not supposed to be like part three or anything, and it's just a quick a bridge between part 2 and 3 sometimes that you get. All right. All clear?
Yes.
And then you have the part 3, which is the big part. because it's the one that changes things, where you have to speak impersonally, not about yourself anymore. Just your opinions and thoughts, yes, but not about you personally. Yeah.
Okay.
Your thoughts, your opinions, but not about you in general. And part 3 is always connected to
General problems.
yeah, and the topic is connected to directly to part 2. So it's the same topic always. Part 2, part 3, always the same topic. Part 1 is unrelated. So part 1 is just random topics. And in part 3, you get how many questions in total, maximum?
I say 3.
Well, 6.
4.
6. You have maximum, but in reality, it could be at a 4, especially if you speak in a lengthy way. And how much time do you have? So part 1 is about 5 minutes, and part 3 is
7 minutes.
5 minutes too. So it's the same as part 1. And you have more time per question, of course. The examiner is more willing to give you time, and they will not cut you off in part 3. Yeah. And in part 3, they are supposed to ask you questions based on your answers. So the first question is random, but then whatever you answer, the examiner will try to follow up on that. Follow up, like that they will connect the next question to your answer somehow. But not always, not always. But they're supposed to. It's called a discussion, right? Part 3 is a discussion, kind of. Well, but in reality, they just keep asking you questions like in part 1. So it's not that big of a difference, but they try to connect. So if you mention something, they might ask you to like give more examples of that, yeah, and to continue like that train of thought to connect your answers together. All right. And in general, in part 3, there could be 2 topics. Like there's that topic that is directly related to part 2, and the topic that is indirectly related to part 2. So they're both related, but one is like very clearly connected, and the other one is loosely connected. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's how it works. But in reality, but like you can look at it as 6 questions. That's it. Yeah, in part 3. And that's it. That's the format of the test. And I recommend to simply practice conversational English. If you have a chance to speak to some native speakers or anyone English speaking, you need to practice. Like, don't worry about looking at videos of IELTS speaking tests. That will only make you worried, and this is not helpful. If you see other people practice IELTS speaking on YouTube or something, then you will think, oh, I will never speak like that, or something like that, right? That's not helpful. You just need to practice speaking with whoever you can. Yeah, that's why, well, you're speaking to me, but if you have any friends in English or friends who know English, just speak to them in English naturally more. Yeah? Try to express your thoughts.
Okay.
Okay, questions about anything that I've said? Do you have any questions?
No.
It's a big like chunk of information here I have thrown at you.
Like I have read about this, but I just forget about it.
Okay, that's okay. And you need to know how the test happens. Now we will move on to checking your test here. So I have minus marks here and text in brackets. Minus marks means something you need to fix usually. And in brackets means usually linking words or connectives that you have used. So you can see how you structure your speech.
Yes.
From the side.
Can you send me the file?
Of course, we'll take a look at it now.
Okay.
Then you have topic clothes. So this is another thing that doesn't always happen in IELTS. The first topic is usually just you, like, tell me, like, do you work or are you a student, right? So that's the basis. Like almost everyone gets that topic. Here, I didn't give that to you because I just want to see more topics with you together, right? Because that topic is really simple, right? Like it's just, what do you study, your favorite subject, things like that. They're a bit simpler because that's your daily life, right? It's easy to talk about. So again, you start with those topics about you directly, like your studies usually, and then sometimes you get, instead of that, you might get something like, where do you live, like your home or apartment, or your hometown, yeah? So something like really, really close to you. You start really simple, usually, yeah? So you would probably almost never start with the topic of clothes in the real test. In the real test, you start something really, really simple. Your family, your home, your hometown, or just you, like directly your studies or work. But here, again, I'm trying to make it a little bit harder by exploring more topics with you in one go. So you started with clothes, and here I have the question I asked you, and I have the vocabulary that you are supposed to use if you want to get a 7 or higher. What vocab do you see? What do you see here?
Dress for comfort to casual outfits.
Yes, you have outfit, casual, dress for comfort. It's 3 items of vocab that you ideally should use or replace with something else. So it's really good to use idioms periodically. Again, you don't have to use idioms every question, but I have to give it to you so you understand the potential of each question, right? And again, you don't have to use the word outfit. You don't have to use the word casual, but you got to use maybe something related to that, other words that are topical here, right? What other words do you know? Wearing clothes. That's the topic. Wearing clothes or just clothes or wearing something. We have outfit, we have casual, anything else?
Casual, simple.
Simple, is that a topical vocabulary here? Topical is something you would normally not use in other topics.
No.
Clothes. You remember studying that perhaps when you were little, right? Did you start learning English when you were little?
Yes.
Okay. So what words do you remember from that time?
Not much. And we learn about how to like how to call different type of clothing, like.
So that's, of course, that fits. So what do you remember?
I only remember like t-shirts, trousers, jeans.
Okay, that's already topical vocabulary, right? So even though it sounds basic, I didn't say advanced vocabulary. I just said topical. So yeah, like jeans, t-shirts, already good. Yeah, that's what the examiner wants to hear. Yeah, not like a general answer, right? So here you should use some topical words like, so what kind of clothes do you wear? You can say, I wear simple and good clothes. It's a terrible answer, right? Because there's no topical vocabulary. But here you have like, I prefer a casual outfit with a tee and some blue jeans. Sometimes I like to wear black jeans, but not often. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a perfect part 1 answer. Like, it's really hard to fail a part 1 answer. How many hours did you sleep? Was it less than, fewer than 5?
The average is 6
No,
hours.
last time. Today.
Oh,
The most recent.
5 hours.
5 hours, okay. Never do that anymore. Try to sleep well before you in class so you
But
can.
I'll try.
Yeah, because I see it's really hard for you, right? Not effective. Anyway, what do you see here? Now you have some of the things from me. So you have the minus mark here, and you said in the daily basis. That's a mistake. I just want to see you fix it.
On my daily basis.
My
On
basis?
my daily basis. On my daily basis.
No. So you see, this is also a set phrase, right? It's a phrase you can't change.
Okay.
On a daily basis.
On a daily basis.
So you cannot change it if you use it. You cannot say the or my or something else or in. So that's an instant misuse of vocabulary, disrespect for the English language.
Okay.
You know, that's how some examiners see it. I don't care, but I mean, I care about it being accurate, but I mean, it's like not that important personally to me. But yeah, I mean, that's why the score goes down, because it's kind of like disrespect to the grammar on a daily basis. Then you say, I would prefer, that's nice, but we should say I'd, not I would. We write I would maybe in task 2. You can't use contractions, right? You know that?
Yes.
But in speaking, it's the opposite. We like to use contractions. So how do you say I'd prefer?
I'd prefer.
Not I'd prefer, but I'd prefer.
I'd prefer.
No, you're still stopping there. I'd prefer.
I'd prefer.
You're stopping. You're stopping before prefer. You need to combine it together. I'd prefer.
I'd prefer.
You stop when you say I'd prefer. No, we need I'd prefer.
I'd prefer. I'd prefer.
Yeah, so it takes practice, right, to say that. Okay. And well, it's actually this I'd prefer. It's like one word. That's how you say it. Yeah, so you think of it as one word. I'd prefer.
I'd prefer.
That's perfect. Yeah, and then immediately the examiner, when they hear that, they don't think, oh, that's weird. Why would you say I would prefer, right? So they just think that's natural speech, right? Nothing, no problem, right?
Yes.
Okay, and the same goes for I have. We say I've, yeah, and many others, right? It is. I've noticed you like to say it is. We say
it's.
It's just it's. Yeah. You could stretch it like native speakers. They could say like it is important when they want to emphasize, when they want to stop and literally say is. That means when they do that, that means it's something serious. They want to emphasize that, right? And you know that is crucial, right? They would say something like this, right? And that's like really important. Now, how do we say this word? You mispronounced that. Just remember, comfortable. Comfortable.
Comfortable.
Yeah. Not never comfortable, never.
Okay.
Comfortable. There's one more word that is similar to comfortable in pronunciation. I'm forgetting now, actually, but there is one more word that students like to mispronounce. It slips my mind now, but keep in mind there's one more word similar to this one. It's also the first syllable, comfortable. Most of the time you say it like this. Have a neutral colors.
Have neutral colors.
Yeah, so we don't need a plus colors, right? That's a grammatical mistake. Just a simple thing like that, right? That counts. It's not a big deal, but if you keep saying this, that's a lower score. Then you said because and got stuck, but it's fine. So you did say because. Then we have, are you very interested in fashion and brand name clothing? So here we have an advanced piece of vocabulary, brand name. What do you do if you don't know it during the test?
You don't know the brand names?
No, I mean brand name clothing. Brand name is advanced vocabulary.
Okay.
Imagine you didn't know it. What would you say in the test? Like, tell me about brand name clothing that you like, and you don't know brand name. What do you do?
Maybe use the brand name of the
No,
clothes.
but you don't understand the question, so how can you answer it?
Like brand names is like famous brand.
Like now you know, yes. But I mean, like during the test, imagine you get a word that you don't know in the question. What do you
Don't
do?
well just
Invent your answer, right? You try to guess the answer.
well, I would try to guess the meaning, but if cannot, I will just ignore it and don't use it.
So you can't, I mean, like, but if you ignore it, you will misunderstand the question. And that's the worst thing you can do. It's like skipping the question. I say, skip, next question, you know, same thing. So how can you do that? So what should you do?
Ask the examiner what's the meaning of it?
Do you think that's a good idea?
No.
It is. It is a good idea. That's what you should do.
Oh, okay.
Why do Vietnamese students think it's not okay to ask that if you don't know the word? Like
Like
every single Vietnamese student thinks that, oh, it's not okay to do that. But why? You don't
because
know the word. What else can you do?
it is a test and we think that not knowing is like
Well, but it's already a fact. Okay, so yes, you should ideally know the word, but it's a fact. It's life. You don't know the words. What can you do? Like your options here are basically answer the question wrong, which is the same as skipping the question, which is terrible, or try to understand the word. And how can you understand it if like the person you're talking to, they're using some word you don't know? Well, you have to ask them what it means. So it's funny to me to hear those answers like, oh, I cannot never ask any clarification questions because I have to be perfect, right? But you are not. We are no one is perfect. So you can just ask, what's brand name? You ask that. But even better would be like, could you paraphrase the question? You can ask that. Could you rephrase the question? Or you could just say, I don't fully understand what you mean. You can say something like that. Something natural, right? Well, like whatever comes to mind to you, how would you ask something you don't understand? Like it's up to you, right? You could say, I don't fully understand what you mean by brand name clothing. And then they would say, oh, I mean, things like basically expensive clothing by some special stores. So they could say that to you, right? And that's fine. Your score really doesn't go down if you do that, but it will go down if you try to answer like as if you know the word, but then it turns out that you don't. That's not good.
so asking for like clarification during the test doesn't affect your score?
Well, yeah, if you don't do it every question, not too much, then yeah, it makes sense. You can ask to rephrase, repeat. Well, maybe ask for the meaning of a word, like what's that? What's this? It's fine.
Okay.
Like it's especially under stress, it's understandable. Yeah, so not big of a deal. But you need to practice that, right? So, are you interested in brand name clothing? Ask me as if you didn't know. Are you interested in brand name clothing?
So I will pretend that I didn't know
Yes.
the meaning of brand name.
Yeah. So tell me, are you interested in brand name clothing?
Can you explain what is brand name
Yeah,
clothing?
you don't really need to ask, like, can you explain? You could just say, what's brand name? Or can you paraphrase that? Yeah. So again, are you interested in brand name clothing?
And like, can I ask you what is brand name clothing is?
You made a grammatical mistake. Can I ask you what is brand name clothing? You said, what is brand name is? Double is.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't need that. Well, okay, you could do it like that, but you could just ask, you could literally say, excuse me, what's brand name? Like that? That's enough. Or you could just say, can you please rephrase that? Can you say it?
can you please rephrase that?
Yes, that's already, that way you don't even need to, like, if you can catch the word, you can say, what's that word? But if you can't catch it, like you don't know the word, right? So maybe you can't say it, right?
Okay.
And that way you could just say, can you rephrase that? You can even say like this, you could say like this, what do you mean? Can you try it?
What do you mean brand name clothing?
No, just what do you mean?
Oh, what do you mean?
Yes, that's another way. It might be, like a trick. That way it doesn't like even sound like you don't know the word, It's like maybe you're just trying to get more meaning. It's kind of like a tricky way to ask. Some people might not like that, but you can try. Like, yeah, what do you mean? That's the smartest way you can be, so to speak, like to avoid showing that you don't know. Yeah, if you really want to be like that. But it's okay to just ask, like, what's this or that? Okay. Now, here you have an idiom. Do you see it? The idiom is always in the quotes. You know idioms? The difference between regular language and idioms, you know that?
Yes.
Idioms is something like you say the words, but the words don't mean what the words usually mean, right? So what's the idiom here?
Keep up with the Joneses.
Jonases.
Joneses.
So it probably eludes your understanding, right? I mean, you don't fully get it, right?
Well,
do you know the meaning? You don't need to, yes.
Keeping up with the fashion trends.
No, in this case, yeah, it's actually very close, but it's not about fashion, it's just everything. Jonases is just another family that lives near you, like neighbors. Your neighbors are keeping up with your neighbors. Whatever your neighbors, people around you are doing, you want to do the same thing, right? Or you might not want to, but you could say that, right? So I don't always, how do you say this? I don't always keep
up with the Joneses.
But from time to time, I do like to buy the latest fashion.
But from time to time, I love to. From time to time, I love
do love to.
to
That's why you need intonation. Remember, I told you intonation. I do love. If you don't say it like that, I do love, that makes no sense, right? You want to try it?
Like it off the clock. I don't know if it affects you, but
what are you talking about?
Like, you're off the clock now.
I understand, but because we started a little bit late, yes, because you didn't join on time and we had a break too. I just wanted to finish with this question and finish here for you. I'm giving you extra time. I'm aware. I'm looking at my clock all the time, but I just want to give you some extra time because I care about your progress.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't just want to, start at some certain time and like you lost some minutes and then you just lose the lesson. I don't want it like that. I want you to still have the full experience. Yeah, I'm very busy, but I do care about my students. That just shows that you're not like irrelevant to me. I still want to see you succeed. That's all. Well, okay, you want to finish? We'll finish. Now, we have the idiom here, a couple of words that I want you to use, and at home, I need you to write an answer to each question using that idiom and the words, right? In this document, you need to do that. And I also need you to fix mistakes or at least reflect on them. Like maybe something you don't understand. Like you're looking at my correction, I mean, like at my comment, and you don't understand what's wrong. And it's fine, but you need to try at least, yes? And you can research some of the maybe better connectives or sentence structures that you have used. Look them up as well. So next time we're going to look at it. I'm going to see how well you have checked all your vocabulary. I mean, all of the new words, how you use them, and how you will have fixed your mistakes. That's what we'll check next time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna send it to you, and next time I need you to do this. But shall we keep it the same way? Like Sunday, 9 p.m.?
Like we can do it